Alrighty, these are going to be the materials that I used for this project. You'll be needing hot glue gun, scissors, spray paint, brooch, bling trim, ribbon, and a champagne flute. We're going to be using different colors and like different shapes of ribbon. These are in a satin type thing. We also need a brooch or a pendant. We also will be using trim or strass bling. This is just a necklace that I'll be using for this specific project. You'll be using spray paint. This is an exterior spray paint, and it got it in the color blue, in a gloss as well. And you'll be needing your champagne flutes. I will be linking where to get all these materials and prices on the description bio down below. I'll also be using tape. So let's go ahead and start and pull out your champagne flute. Wipe it down so it doesn't have any like oil or dirt on it. Take off the sticker on the bottom as well. Alright, and then you're just going to grab your tape, and this is a 1-inch tape. You could use the 2-inch as well, and you're going to cover the top rim, and you're just going to do 2 layers. So if you would have like the 2-inch, you would just do 1 single layer, but because I have the smaller tape, I'm going to go ahead and tape the top half. So you should have something like this, just like the top half. Or it's not really like half of it, it's just like a quarter. It's 2 rows of tape on the top. And now you want to cover the top. In that way, when you spray it, you won't get any spray paint inside the glass and then staining and ruining the inside of your glass. So you want to cover that. And we also want to cover the bottom. It doesn't have to be perfect on the bottom part, but it definitely, we want this top little bubble right here to be painted, but we don't want the stand bottom part to be clear. We want this to be clear, and then the top that we are going to cover. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm just going to add the last little piece of tape right here, just so I can decently round out this edge right here. And I just want to make sure it doesn't have to be too perfect, because we're going to cover it with the bling on the end. But this is kind of like what you're going for. And when you spray this, maybe you can go outside or use some sort of like guard on the back of like a cardboard or something, so that way you don't have to like spray. I would still not spray inside. I would say spray outside, but maybe you want to cover it so it doesn't like go all over the place. I already talked about the paint, but I just kind of want to show you again so you get a good look and you see kind of what type of paint. It's an outdoor spray paint. Fast forwarding to the spraying, it should be looking a little bit something like this. Make sure you get kind of like 2 coats on this, because I seem like if I sprayed it once and then let it dry and lift it up in the air, you can kind of still see through the light. But if you do 2 nice coats on it, it will be very opaque, bold, and the color will show through really nice. So at this point right now that we already got it sprayed, we're just going to start on taping it and seeing what we did. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And then you kind of get to see the line you created with the tape. And it kind of turns out to be a very clean line if you stick the tape firmly. I took off all the tape from it, so this is kind of what you should have. You should have the bottom part clear, and then the middle painted, and the top clear. That's basically it with the painting part of the project. At this point, you're going to grab your bling trim, or in this case a chain, and you're going to measure it all around the edge, and you want to leave maybe an inch or an inch and a half of a space that you won't be covering. So wrap it around and measure it, and then just grab your trusty scissors and it will cut through the metal on here. So go ahead and do that. I'm going to go ahead and apply a generous amount of hot glue, and I will stick this right to the edge of the glass. So just leaving that one space in the middle and then making sure it wraps all the way around. And I do let a little bit of the bling hang on the top so that way you can kind of see over the line a little bit when you see through the glass. So you'll be using your rhinestone brooch or whatever, and I went ahead and took off the little metal clips of the brooch with some pliers, and you're going to use this part to stick it in the space that we left in between here, and we are going to be using hot glue to do that. And you want to make sure you put like a nice glob of glue on there. And I also think it'll be a good idea if you just leave it drying, kind of like the glue facing down, you know what I mean? So it like really drips and sets into the glass and everything. So this is kind of just how it's looking now. It's on there. It's not going anywhere, but I just want to make sure that it just dries and everything. Meanwhile, you're going to be making some bows for the bottom of the champagne flute. So with your ribbon, you're basically going to do a bow that looks like this. And we're using a smaller blue ribbon and then a bigger white ribbon. These are the ones that I'm using. This is a 15 mm and then the other one is a 9 millimeter. Okay, so you want to just grab your white ribbon and then loop it and put a dab of hot glue on the end and just measure it to just whatever length you feel proper, and you want to do that to the other side. So you want to fold it over and create another loop like that and then glue it down. With the same strip, you're basically almost going to do like an X formation, and you're just going to keep on folding it and putting dabs of glue until you created a bow. So I'm going to use my scissors to cut the excess off, and I'm going to end up using the back side, not the side that I was gluing everything on, but the front, the back side of the bow. And this is our bow. And we're going to do the same process with a blue ribbon, but we're going to do 3 loops instead of 2. And this is our final bow that we did. We did leave our glass drying. So now we're going to stand it up and kind of play around and see where we want to put the bow. So I'm just going to go ahead and put it in the dead center and kind of like it flinging up a little bit just so it's not so flat. I want it to kind of like stand up a little bit. So I went ahead and just glued it down. I made sure that it was with a heavy hand of glue. And I'm going to get this decorative ribbon that says Our Wedding and just set it in the middle of that and press down on it. It's got a nice little dab pearl of silicone on there, and I just kind of united 2 little pieces of ribbon and cut the ends. That way it's readable on both sides. And I'm going to give you a little, just so you see. Remember how I told you it didn't have to be so perfect on here? That's because we're going to grab our extra and cover that up there. And also make sure that our flaps weren't noticeable with the glue, and I made sure that the glue came all the way around the edges. So that's how it looks so far. And I'm going to finish off by putting the bling in the middle. So basically I went ahead and added the trim here. I used hot glue to glue it down. I did the back as well with the leftover. And basically there you go. There you have it. That's the final product. this was a nice, easy project to do. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And see you on the next one. Bye!